Picking back up with lesson 3.7 in CalcBC, we're coming back to part B. We're given a velocity graph. You can see that velocity graph is pictured right here on the screen. And we're trying to figure out when this particle is going to speed up and when this particle is going to slow down. So we said earlier at the end of the video that you speed up when velocity and acceleration have the same sign. So v is greater than 0, a is greater than 0. Or v is less than 0 and a is less than 0. So what does it mean for v to be greater than 0? Well, your graph is above the x-axis. A being greater than 0 means you have positive slope. So you have to be above the x-axis, but you also have to have positive slope. So there aren't a lot of places where that's going to happen. You can see that's going to be here from, t equals 2 to 2, and also from 8 to 9. But you're also going to be wondering, hey, is it also possible for v to be less than 0? In other words, your graph is below the x-axis, but then you'd have negative slope. Well, to be below the x-axis and to have negative slope, you'd be here between 6 and 7. So what would we have here for an answer? Well, you're speeding up between a time of 2/3 and 2, between 6 and 7, and between 8 and 9. How about when you're slowing down? You're going to have v and a opposite signs. In other words, you'd want v to be greater than 0, but a to be less than 0. You'd want v to be less than 0, and at the same time, a to be greater than 0. So let me just get an eraser and clear off those highlights and investigate first. Where is v greater than 0, but a is less than 0? Well, you got to be above the x-axis, but with negative slope. Hopefully you can see it would be here from 4 and 6. That's where you're above the x-axis, but you have negative slope. Likewise, you could also say, well, you could be below the x-axis, v is less than 0, but a is greater than 0. So that's going to be right here between 0 and 2/3, that time span, and also between 7 and 8. So it is there that you're going to have your slowing down, and it only would take you a moment to see that you'll be at 0, 2/3. You're going to be between 4 and 6, and finally between 7 and 8. Every once in a while, students will say, well, you're missing some time intervals. What about between 2 and 4? What about between 9 and 10? But guys, if your acceleration is 0, your acceleration won't have the same or opposite sign at those locations, because a slope of 0 is neither positive nor negative. Well, I hope that helps. Best of luck.